It's kind of nice.
What did you guys think about that backstage?
The number of times that I stopped breathing to find out. So we use RepeatMD, right? So we also didn't know what it was going to cost. So when Phil was doing his little bit, and I was like, okay, what's this going to cost me? I need it. What's it going to cost me? I need it. I was gagged and gooped.
Pins and needles for sure. It was awesome. And congratulations to everybody who won.
Yeah, fantastic. There we go. Let me get all situated here.
Put your tail away.
I know. Excuse me, gentlemen.
Just so you guys know, we are now in the after hours portion, so our language might get saucy.
It is going to get saucy, but it's also going to be worthwhile, worth your time here. So I promised all the diehards, right? If you're sticking around for this, it's because you're serious about growing your business, and this is what we're going to share with you. So I got Chris and Joe here because they are two of the best in the business when it comes to selling memberships. Joe, let me start with you and ask you, what is the biggest number of memberships you've ever sold in a single day period?
Yeah, well, honestly, it was 75 in one day, and it was in July of all times.
75 in July.
In July.
That's like 200 in December.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm going to ask you how you did that in a minute, but Chris, tell me, most members, now it's not, I will say, Chris does have 5 locations, so, let's.
It's a competition.
That's it.
No, I'm just kidding. So I did 112 in one day, and it was October.
Fantastic. You guys are both all-stars. What's your total monthly recurring revenue? For those of you who don't know, monthly recurring revenue is your memberships, like how much people spend the memberships in a given month. What's your membership monthly revenue at?
I'm at $85,500 per month of guaranteed revenue, which equates to about 100 and, well, I'm at, loaded question.
Math in public.
Math in public. So nowadays I have 283 members. I think that we're going to talk about this a little bit later. I think both of us agree. As much as we want it to be a slow trickle, a lot of times these big events are really when you nail the membership drives, right?
Sure.
So I'm now up to 283, as of this morning, 284. And it's kind of my big events where I do a membership push. So my monthly recurring revenue on that is roughly about $55,000 to $60,000.
Fantastic. And Joe, where are you at in monthly recurring revenue?
Yeah, so we're at 275 members, which is fantastic, and we're about 50,000 a month now.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's amazing, right? Because if you're talking about recurring revenue in the med spa business, especially in more difficult economy situations like we're experiencing today, it really helps you cover that overhead, and it really makes sure that you can continue to operate and not have to worry about all those bills.
For sure.
And what we're going to talk about probably towards the end of this is if you've ever considered selling or going the private equity route, you can't sell a patient database that's called Blue Sky. What you can sell, though, are consistent memberships, right? So memberships are not only giving you the money and success you need today, but securing that future as well.
Yeah, that's a big piece, and that's one of the things I want to talk to you guys about. Once we kind of figure out how we build and grow our memberships, like why is it so valuable, right? So we'll talk about that. So I want to get into now, right? The promise is like, hey, how do I double? If I gave you 30 days to double your memberships, Chris Balby, how would you double your memberships in 30 days if you were put to that challenge?
I think that we have to start at the very beginning. As Maria from The Sound of Music would start, we've got to say we have to start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. I've got to build an audience, right? So in the wise words of Phil Setter, Kim Kardashian is not a good salesperson. She just has a large following. And so if you don't take the time to establish an audience, you really have nobody to sell to. So I think we have to start there.
Okay, fantastic. Joe, would you second that?
I would second that. And I think that people struggle with trying to figure out how to build that audience, right? I think you first and foremost need to create a social media profile, and of course that's sort of marketing 101, but the reality is you can do different things. So in my market, one of the most successful things that we did was actually TV commercials. So if you haven't looked into TV, it's actually cheaper than you think, and it can be really successful. And for us, we designed this high luxury experience that was never seen before in Southern Oregon. And to be able to put that on TV, we had people stopping by for the very first time, literally opening the door, just wondering if it was real. And so that type of sort of virality gets people in the door, and you have to find your own way to differentiate yourself in your market.
Yeah, I like that. So let's kind of double click into the conversation then. So, and we'll come back to like how we double our memberships in a second, but let's double click on the audience building. Because if that's the key, if that's the cornerstone, if I can't, build a big membership base until I have an audience, well, you guys know how to build damn audiences, so why don't you tell us the secrets on building an audience?
Yeah, I want to let you guys know, I can see the chat. My eye doctor would be very proud of me, and I see that we are all kind of in the same boat where we've been selling memberships for about a year and we're stuck at like the 6 or the 5-person mark. We're going to get to sell more, but we do have to start at this whole building an audience thing, right? So for me, I am social media based. I've got a personality, shocker, and so I do take a lot of time to foster relationships on Instagram. What I tell people all the time though, it's it's not about selling on Instagram. If you're at home, which is my cutaway camera? Do we remember? I don't know which to look at. But if you spend all of your time on Instagram selling, you're gonna fail. I want you to spend time on Instagram building a community. Do you want to hear what I did in the month of September?
Tell us. That's what
I know,
we
that's what we're here for, right?
Please.
Thank you so much. I did a book club. So what does a book club have to do with Misha Aesthetics, right?
But it sounds like it's something I do with like 5 or 6 friends. How did you do this, like through social media?
Right, so I created an Instagram account called Misha_reads. It's still public if you want to go take a peek at it. We picked a book to read in the end of August, and every Friday, I let people have a discussion question, pages 1 through 50, 50 through 100, et cetera, et cetera. And I created that engagement, right? I gave people a reason to come back every Friday. And I paired it up with September, back to school, and I created a community, and I booked 4 new patients who were like, you've been on my radar, I'm a big reader, I'm now gonna come to you because I earned some free Botox, right? So it's not just about selling on Instagram, it's about creating community, and that's kind of one of the things I do.
And you're doing this, you're not outsourcing this.
No.
It's Chris Balby talking directly to his
You
people.
can't outsource.
No,
social media. It
if
has
you're
to be
gonna
internal.
spend $4.99 a month, don't do it on a marketing firm, do it on a RepeatMD subscription.
Thank you for the free plug.
If you're a marketing person out there watching this and you're an agency, I'm so sorry. Please stop paying outsourced marketing agencies to create content for you. I think you can agree, maybe not, but you got to create that content in office, right?
You can, although I will say one thing that was really amazing for us is, obviously the advent of AI. Everybody's talking about AI. But you can build incredibly engaging posts using AI. And so if you don't know how to do prompt engineering, this is the time to learn. It's amazing. But what for us works really well is we also create something that makes the community engaged. So for example, around back to school time, we give teachers facials, right? Or in the case of the Pacific Northwest, we have a lot of fires and the firemen are coming off.
Where are you based out of, Joe?
Medford, Oregon. We are 20 miles north of the California border in a small town. If we can do it, so can you.
Yeah, that's not downtown Beverly Hills, right?
No, it's not. But the reality is with firemen coming off the line, right, their pores are filled with all this smoke and ash, and you can have your clients be excited to give them a facial, right?
Yeah.
And you create that environment, that discussion, and want people to come back and visit the page and see what else you're doing.
I mean, segue my firefighter story. So,
yes,
yeah,
indeed.
so
Tell
one
us
of the
that.
things I say all the time is stop thinking about your bottom line and start thinking about infusing yourself in your community. One of my favorite things to do is to buy pizzas for my local fire department or hospital workers.
Everybody loves pizza.
Everyone loves pizza.
Hey, where's
and
my pizza, Chris?
I know, we'll get pizza later. And what I do is I have the pizza shops right in the pizza box. Hey, lunch on us, Misha Aesthetics, follow us at Botox by Misha. And whether the firefighter wants the facial or the firefighter goes home and tells their partner about us, it's truly because we want to thank them, but it's another way of like getting through and pushing that.
Yeah, and the relationship
I see
starts
one of
off.
the questions, prompt engineering. We can teach you
Yeah,
all.
that's what I was going to ask. Like, that's a big word you throw out there, prompt engineering. Very scary. What is that?
Well, honestly, number one, if you don't know how to prompt engineer, you just ask AI about how to prompt engineer. That's the first and the most easy thing.
Yeah.
The second thing is
is
if
the
you
power.
think you know what prompt engineering is, you probably don't, and that's okay. You can put into AI, I would love to make this prompt more refined. I'd love for this specific outcome to happen. Here's my thoughts. Why don't you tell me your opinions? Ask me other questions that you need to know before I actually give that result. And by the time you're finished with that, you're probably gonna have an incredible prompt that you can put into the next thread, and you're gonna get exactly what you want. It takes a little bit of time, effort, tweaking, and learning, but honestly,
But it's ultimately a time saver at the end of the day. Yeah.
Absolutely.
AI, I mean, AI 101, slop in, slop out.
Yeah.
So if
Yes.
you're just saying, I want an Instagram post about Botox, your results are going to be meh. But if you say, I'm a medical spa located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, my median market is $45,000 per year, I'd like an if you
Give it the link to your website.
Right, give it the link to your
you
website.
have to give it the link to the website
Yeah.
because you want it to learn exactly what you do.
Right.
I also give it my Instagram links because
Yeah.
I want it to learn exactly how we speak as well, right?
Yeah.
Because it's got to create your digital presence that matches the in-office presence.
Someone asked the name of our businesses if we want to recap
Yeah,
that
no,
real quick.
please.
You wanna
I
go
didn't get a
first?
chance to properly introduce you guys, please. Yeah.
I'm the CEO of both the Clinic for Dermatology and Wellness and then Pure Med Spa.
And my name is Chris Balby, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Operations for Misha Aesthetics. We're located in Pennsylvania, and our Instagram is Botox by Misha, MEESHA. To circle back though, we're talking about memberships. You can use AI to help you plan what your memberships are, right? Hey, this is my target demographic. What should I be putting in my memberships to
Yeah.
make them more salesy?
Fantastic. You know, I love AI. I use AI all the time, especially when I'm sending, text messages to my mom. You know, it's actually really funny. I sent a bunch of like really heartfelt text messages over the holidays. AI people loved them, and then I told them, they're like, "You idiot." Anyway, sorry for the distraction, but we go on and on about building community and building the base, but like that's the key. So, okay, and I'll tell you also, we'll share how to reach out to both of you gentlemen after this, like where they can find you. Joe, I know you do consulting. Chris, I know you do some consulting. And they're going to give you a great rate. They'll tell them to give you the Chris Jaminko special, which is double. And they'll tell you how to reach them. But one thing I want to talk about is, okay, now that I've got my audience, right, I'm creating, I'm building a community. I want to talk to you also about the commercials, like how do I book commercials, like, because that seems a little daunting, like TV seems a little scary. And you can hit that, I'll let you go first. But I got my audience built. Now, what's the best way to capitalize on the audience? Like, how do I turn that potential energy into kinetic energy as far as actual like memberships? Now that I've got like the people speaking to me, Joe, I'll let you start.
Sure. So for commercials, you have to connect with somebody who's locally connected to the largest TV station. So for us, that's a pretty easy thing to do. In a big city, that might be a little bit more sort of roundabout to find the right person. But you have to have a great videographer, and they're everywhere, frankly. If I can find one,
videographer's everywhere. So find a videographer.
Yep, you find a videographer. You shoot some great B-roll that basically tells people what your in-office experience is like, right?
Okay.
Really show off your people, your services, your facilities, whatever it is that differentiates you. In my case, we have a liquor license, so we can show people drinking alcohol. We have this beautiful locker room facility. We can do all these things, right, to get people's attention. And then the big question actually is, where do I put those commercials? Today, a lot of people have chosen to go streaming. Well, I don't know if you guys have noticed. I mean, I've noticed. It's really annoying. But you pay all this money for these streaming services, and all of a sudden now there's commercials, right? But here's the thing. It's the local area that controls those commercials. So that's how you get in front of your audience. Now, commercials are not everything, right? There's print, which I don't think none of us really want to do. But you can do a million different things. And once you get them in the door, that's where the trick comes in, right? You have to capture that live audience. So for us, for example, if they're coming in for the first time, we, of course, will get them scheduled, but we teach them right off the bat about RepeatMD and why it's important, because it's our rewards platform, right? It's just like the Starbucks stars system. So whether or not they sign up for membership or not, they still now have added in their contact information and a way for us to get in touch with them, which is outside of my EMR system and my HIPAA-compliant text messaging, and we have their information to communicate with them about our specials and keep them engaged. So that's sort of the first and most basic aspect in what we do.
But to jump off that, I don't let people confirm their appointment or come in for an appointment without signing up for Misha Plus, our rewards app. So when you sign up for your appointment, you get a text message from us, hey, confirming your appointment to make your life easier and save $25. Make sure you're signed up for Misha Plus. So that's the, we're talking memberships in a second, but segue, audience first. Audience has to get on your RepeatMD app. My biggest pet peeve, if you're watching this at home, please stop, I'm getting closer. Please stop taking the phone out of your client's hands and checking them in that way. They have to learn. So if you're a practice using RepeatMD and you take it out of their hand and say, I'll do it for you, you're doing yourself a disservice.
And your staff should know how to use it on Android and iPhone devices, and to help the client when they're struggling. Typically, it's an operating system issue, right? Have them update their phone.
Let me ask you guys a quick question. Being, avid users of RepeatMD, like you've actually forced it to be like a critical part of your business. Some folks we talk to, and we'll get into like the capture of the memberships in a second. Giving away all the rewards, right? RepeatMD is a rewards app at its heart.
Yep.
Some folks say, well, geez Louise, I'm giving away all this stuff. How do you respond to people that may have that attitude about rewards and the whole reward philosophy?
Well, number one, you have to spend to make, right? I think that a lot of people don't really understand that. It's a scary thing to spend some money, right, to get a client. But let's be honest, if you can get a client with a simple $50 off your first service, or a friend referring $50 off their first service, that is so much cheaper than trying to get somebody off of Google and the SEO spend, right? It does not take a ton of money to get people's attention, and that is cheap money.
And I say it's not a loss, it's an investment, right?
Yes.
So a lot of times people see these rewards as a loss. I call them investments. And one of the things I learned RepeatMD 101 3 years ago, I don't give away full services. I give away boosters. I give away extra areas for laser. I give away the $4 B12 shots, right? So, and my big other tip is don't ever make your retention rewards Botox based. And rarely do I make my rewards Botox based. That's my bread and butter.
Right.
I'm not giving away the cow at that point.
You're trying to steer them into other profit centers,
Absolutely.
right? That's perfect. I love that answer. So let's get into so we got the audience, Chris. And I know you guys talked about 75 members in a day, 80 members in a day. That doesn't happen just by 85 people walking in. So what's the secret to taking the audience and really capitalizing? What are you doing to do that?
I think the sexiest thing about us, besides our good looks, is that we have two split stories to tell you. I'm going to cover a social media campaign.
All right.
And you're going to cover in person, right?
Absolutely.
Cool. So
And that's an event?
Yeah.
Events? Okay.
So for me, social media is my bread and butter. Rebecca, I hate Yelp. So for me,
we all do.
We all do. For me, I do a event that's digital, and the thing I've got to tell you guys, please don't think you can talk about your event once and it will work, right? Or on one platform and it'll work, right? So it's omni-channel marketing is what the word is. It's worth 18 points on Scrabble. What omni-channel marketing means is that we're gonna spend 7 to 10 days. For example, at Botox by Misha right now, my Instagram, you're gonna see a post today.
Yeah, tell us your exact playbook leading up to here, because you have an event coming up,
It's
right?
happening next week, right?
Okay, great.
So next week we're doing a membership drive, but today I posted teasers of what the theme is gonna be. Spoiler alert, it's Wizard of Oz. And I said, hey, before we get into this membership drive, can you tell me what's stopping you from being a member? And this is data research 101, right? So now I've got 4 days and V3, thanks Phil, and the rest of the RepeatMD staff, to reset if I want to make any tweaks to my memberships. And then next week I can sell them, right? So ask the questions, get the answers. Next week I plan on talking about it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Are you asking
and
the
Friday.
questions just through Instagram post?
Yeah,
or?
just an
Okay.
Instagram post.
All right.
And then I won't talk about it the rest of this week. I'll take the time to make magic happen. Then next week, it'll be Monday through Friday. It'll be More Info Monday, Trivia Tuesday, Way Back Wednesday. I have a formula. If you guys have RepeatMD, you can come to my courses. They happen twice a month. Bi-monthly? Is that
Yep,
bi-monthly?
I
right?
believe that is. Bi-weekly?
Bi-weekly?
Bi-weekly, I think.
It's something.
It's something. It's twice a month.
So next week I'm going to talk about it 4 times, and then on the big day, Friday, the last day, I'm going to do an email, I'm going to do a social media post, and I'm going to do a text message. And they're all going to say the same thing in proper formats, right? But they're going to be scheduled at different times, so you get that 1-2 punch, right?
Howitzer, you're hitting them from every angle.
Right, and I
multiple
think that
times.
I just talked to another practice who was floundering a little bit, and I love Flounder. Little Mermaid's my favorite Disney movie. But the reason they were floundering is that they would come up with this really good idea, they would launch it on one day, and then never talk about it again.
What if I'm scared about pestering people, though? I don't want to bother
You
people.
can't be scared about pestering people, number one. If you're doing sales properly, you really probably are talking to people 8 different times before
Wow.
they finally close the deal in a lot of cases, right? We hope we don't have to get to that 8th time, but that's potentially the case. The omni-channel piece is critical. You really need to reach out to people on all 3 channels because you don't really know which client or patient, however you call them, is going to respond to which channel.
And everyone's afraid of repetition,
Yep.
but the problem is like Starbucks is repetitive. Well, how many times have you been advertised a pumpkin spice latte this season, right?
More than I can count.
And-
But
yeah.
I'm scared that they're going to yell at me and
Who's
get mad at
yelling?
me. I mean, has anybody ever had anybody reach out and say, "Stop, leave me alone"?
Of course. But you know what's fine about that is they usually tell you specifically which channel they don't want it on. They don't unsubscribe in full, and if they do, they're probably not the right client for you anyway. You should not be afraid of
Self-selection.
that. Absolutely. It's all about client selection at the end of the day.
That's a great point.
So
yeah.
how do you do it with events?
It's a great question. So,
We're going to circle back and talk about how you run your event to make it successful. Of
Oh,
course.
okay, sorry. I got tired of talking.
Well, wait.
I was like,
You got tired of talking?
Yeah, me,
Now
I
you're
got
lying
tired of
to the camera. All right, Joe. So tell us how we lead up and build your event.
Yeah, so quite frankly, we do a very similar thing. You have to tease the theme, and of course in my case, we want to give away something special. Now, I'm like Chris, I don't give away services. I honestly think that's probably one thing that a lot of practices are doing that's really a disservice to themselves. They don't really realize this because what happens is you set this tone that all of a sudden you're going to constantly give away services. And that really puts you in a bind. I would
'Cause they wait until
absolutely
you give it away, yeah.
Yeah, so one of our real top tips and tricks is that we partner with local vendors. So everybody knows about the vendors that come into your office, Elast and Botox, whatever, right? Yes, they should be helping you with your event. They should be attached to the collaboration of your different posts.
Contributing to the event.
Contributing, absolutely, giving you samples to give away, whatever, right? A prize to win. But at the end of the day, what people forget is there's amazing local vendors, right? There's food trucks, there's hair tinsel, there's nail techs, all the people that your staff are already going to see, and they're interested in growing their own business too. If you make them collaborators, if they're providing stuff to your swag bags, your clients are thrilled to get that in
And you
their swag
promote
bags.
all that stuff to your. You let them know all these people are going to be there.
And here's the best part. the vendors are pushing out that on their channels,
Oh,
and
that's-
now we have this massive sort of
megaphone
spread.
is just multiplying
Absolutely.
because the hairdressers are pushing it out there, the nail techs are. So you got everybody promoting your event because they want to show up because they're going to get business. Everybody wins.
And
Absolutely.
a quick pro tip there is make it easy for those people to do it by creating a Canva template that says, I'm a vendor at this med spa's event, this date, and send that to them and let them post it, right? If you ask them to post, you don't know what you're gonna get. But if you control the narrative and give them the content, just say, hey, I made this on Canva, can you post this for me?
Well, you know, one thing we did recently was actually great is you actually invite them into your facility and let them do their own videography with your team so you can control that content. And then the collaboration is really exactly what you both want.
Before we move into the next segment, which is like really unpacking like how you orchestrate your events to make them successful, right? So we talked about, I gotta build an audience. So I gotta have somebody in the room listening to me. Then we talked about how we reach out to them, what channels we reach out to them, and how we actually get them to the event. The next piece we want to talk about is what happens at the event. But if you're getting value out of this segment, right, for all of our diehards out there that stuck around, can you just put a yes out there? Can you just let us know, like, yes, I'm getting value? So type in a yes, let us know you're getting some value out of this because we really enjoy this. And, you know, your feedback is what we all feed on because they haven't fed us today. So that's all we have.
I can also see the chat barely, so if you do have questions as we go
Yeah.
along, I'm not being sketchy when I stare out into space. I'm just checking the chat. So we talked about this. Sorry, doctor. We weren't going to.
Doctor.
I'm calling you doctor for now. We weren't going to answer questions, but I think it's fun when I can see the
Yes,
chat.
and that's fair. So yeah, if you do have a question, hop it in there. These guys are fantastic. So, all right. Joe, let's continue on with you. You got the local vendors. It's a big day of the show. You're a brick and mortar event. Chris, I know your big thing is web. So let's talk about the brick and mortar event. Okay, so one of the big ways you get people to the door is you get all the different vendors. They're all promoting it. You're pumping it out there. Day of the event comes. How are we executing at the event to make sure it's successful? Are we giving away? You know, one of the things I want to talk
Okay,
about.
can I ask a question? Sorry. How are you telling people about this event? Before we even get to the
yeah,
event,
please.
how do we tell people that event's coming?
Well, number one, you have to tease it, right? On Instagram, on a text message, on an email. E-blast is usually the first thing that we do because we want to get a bit of a test out there to see who's actually reading our emails. But really it comes down to Instagram, and then we actually put it on our evergreen ads that go on our social media because we actually direct it to a landing page that creates a form. And in our case, if you're not doing this is a good tip. Every single person who RSVPs gets a phone call from my staff. And we actually pre-go over what's coming at the event. It's usually not until right before the event, but we really want people to understand what they're walking into, have a bit of an understanding of the flow they're going to expect that day, and the deals that they're going to be
The
able to get.
expectation setting.
And then we can tease, if we haven't already revealed it, the main prize that we give away, which is usually something really fancy, and it's an investment again, right?
Yeah.
People are afraid to invest in events, and you really need to get something that everybody wants to win.
What is the email platform to use? Do you know off the top of your head?
Oh, it's MailChimp.
Your MailChimp. I'm Campaign Monitor. He's MailChimp. It was one of the questions that came through.
Yeah, that's great. I love the grittier the question, the better. There's two things I want to talk to you about, Joe. One is you got a liquor license, but you don't use it. So
Not
I'm
at
curious
events.
about that. So Joe runs events, and he has a liquor license, like you mentioned, but he doesn't actually use alcohol at his events, which is pretty counterintuitive for the market. So let's unpack your event a little bit. Talk to me about why you don't think alcohol is a great idea. B, the big giveaway that really changed the game for your events, and then C, you talk about like how you're getting this like kind of like you got them their undivided attention when they're getting services done, and how you take advantage of that time to have the conversations you need to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so the big sort of plot twist that we had on our last event was that, thanks to RepeatMD, like really inspiring us, it was a Louis Vuitton bag, right? And that brought in a unique new clientele. Some people would argue, well, gosh, I feel like it's just me, the people that can't afford a Louis Vuitton shirt. No, these were diehard Louis Vuitton fans
yeah.
who came with their Louis Vuitton and they wanted to add to their collection. They were the exact client we
Yeah,
wanted.
you want people with Louis Vuitton on their arm walking in looking for more Louis Vuitton.
Absolutely, and we had a line of 100 people out the door, which we've never had at events
Wow.
before. It was awesome. That created a different challenge at check-in we'll talk about later. But as far as the alcohol goes, when you have a liquor license, which first and foremost, if you're gonna get one, use an attorney. They will help advise you through the whole process and how you need to handle things. When you do that in an aesthetic setting, it's still medicine, right? So consenting and the whole process is really important. If you wanna talk about that, we can talk about that offline. But in terms of events, we've done this since really the advent of when we brought in Cool Sculpting in 2018. Back then it was great, you had somebody have a glass of champagne, maybe it helped them make that purchase a little easier. The inhibitions went away. But what we've recently found is because we have a liquor license where we can serve more different types of alcohol, it became this like wine sampling discussion and what do you think of this particular vintage? And it distracted from the whole conversation. I don't find that it at an event itself is going to open people's pocketbooks. It really is a distraction. So what we do instead is we capture their attention with fun things, right? We have the hair tinsel lady who's there. The client is in that chair, a captive audience right next to that elastin rep, right? Now the elastin rep can talk about their skin routine and help them understand why they need that skin routine. They're gonna go build a bouquet of flowers on the way out the door because they get to take something with them, but we're talking to them about what did they get, why did they get it, what memberships did they sign up for. And as they first got there, I think this is what's really critical. If you're not doing this with RepeatMD, you have to take the time to make sure, one, they have that app on their phone.
Yep.
If they don't, teach them why they need it on their phone, give them a clinical consultation, and then talk to them about how that clinical consultation translates into a membership that they need, right? And that was really the entire circuit that they went through.
That's the full circle.
Some of the fun things we're doing at our in-person event coming up, so idea bouncing, we're doing a Hydrinity misting booth. So instead of a kissing booth, you put your head in, and instead of getting a kiss, you get misted with Hydrinity. I'm super excited about that. And the other thing we're doing is there's Skin Medica HA is now a foaming cleanser. So we're doing a cold foam HA foam booth. So you can go get your hot chocolate with some on top, but you also get to feel the cold.
Now, how do you set all that up? I mean, do you have to spend money and do all this yourself, or the reps come in like how
Look at all this money! No, I usually get people to, like, the Hydrinity rep will, here's like the caveat.
Yeah, what's the secret?
The Hydrinity rep will give me 2 or 3 samples that I can sell, and when I sell that at 0 cost, it's full profit, and I take that profit and I buy stuff with it. Not, again, it doesn't always happen in like the right order, right? I might put the money out ahead of time.
Sure.
But like those Dysport samples you get, the Botox samples you get, that's the money that I use.
That's you're using that cash as your next event budget.
Yeah.
So you're using, I love that.
And that's how we got so many people to our Botox event, right? We were able to basically save up our naive patient samples from our rep after doing all of the normal ordering that we do. And we were able to incentivize people to sign up for our memberships by giving them away those 50
so
free
you use
units.
all those free samples
Absolutely,
as you're set up for the membership.
And they are naive, right? They're truly naive to the whole process, getting a full correction, however you want to sell it, right? But the thing with the reps that's interesting is, and what got really a pretty viral response is one of our vendors that we partnered with locally, she got into a car wreck. And she needed some help getting back on her feet. And so we decided to create an entry fee for the first time. Funny enough, entry fees people are really nervous about doing. And it is actually really a successful thing because it creates this exclusivity, just like going to a club, right, in Vegas.
I hate going to clubs that are free because all the people that are cheap are going to get in there and
That's
clock it up.
correct. Again, that same clientele we're trying to attract. And then what we did is we didn't keep a dime of that entry fee. We donated it directly to that vendor. So we have now established that every event we do is going to have a cause. And so our next cause is for children in need, called the Sparrow Club locally. This was my spa manager, Steph's idea. She's absolutely brilliant. She's my RepeatMD champion. And I'll tell you what, it has done nothing but made our events successful.
Yeah, and I bet it doesn't hurt your standing in the community that you're giving back, and people have no problem paying an entry fee if they know it's going to a good place, right? We all wish we were doing more altruistic things in our day-to-day life, so it's fantastic that you find that win-win commonality. Let's talk about your live.
Me? I get to talk.
Also, I know people are going to want to come watch your event, so why don't you tell them how they can participate?
No, I mean,
as well.
so our event is not. Okay, so back in my day, I survived COVID. We did virtual events and we did live streams very similar to this. They were not 4 hours long. They did not have Louis Vuitton bags, 5 hours long. We did live events like this. We did it on Zoom. We did it on Goldcast.
So is your
Instagram.
next event going to be live in person then?
Our next event is a week-long social media campaign. So I shouldn't even call it an event.
Okay.
So my next membership drive is all next week. Next week, right? Monday through Friday. So Monday, we're going to have a picture of the cowardly lion. It's brave to admit that you want skincare. Tuesday, we're going to have the scarecrow. It's a no-brainer to sign up for a membership. So you kind of get the vibe.
So this is a drive through social media. It's not like a singular event, but it is a coordinated effort.
Yeah, and then Wednesday it's going to be the Tin Man. It takes heart to make that
Is there a
decision
Flying
for
Monkeys
you.
Day? I was terrified of the Flying
No,
Monkeys.
Thursday it's a twister.
Twist. Okay.
Yeah, so I literally built a costume that looks like a twister, and on Thursday it's Twister Thursday,
costume looks like,
and it's don't get swept up in all of the decisions. Talk to Adonis or Aria and talk to your consultant.
I can't wait to have that. And by the way, do we get to know what you are in this whole process? You
Just
have
a
a
wizard.
costume, right? That you're gonna wear?
Oh, I was like, what do you mean? What am I? Okay, are you ready for what I am? So everyone's like, are you gonna be the wizard? Are you gonna be the flying monkey?
Dorothy?
No. First of all, I would rock some red heels, but no. And there would be glittery. No, I'm actually the Yellow Brick Road. So I found this really cool poncho thing that is the Yellow Brick Road costume, and all the Yellow Brick Roads lead to a sale. But I am
love
doing.
that.
Oh, sorry,
You're
I said you.
fine.
I am doing a Louis Vuitton bag next week. So
Okay.
I'm
Look at
doing a
that.
Louis Vuitton bag stuffed with Misha gift cards. But guess how you can enter?
The RepeatMD app.
You got to be a member.
Gotta be a
so
member.
it's a members only drive.
Yeah.
So it's a no-brainer to sign up. Plus, you can win this bag.
Louis
I think
Vuitton
it sounds
bags,
great.
I mean,
I'm going.
Louis Vuitton bag sweeping the nation, right? So average Louis Vuitton bag investment about $2,500 roughly.
I got one for 1,500.
1,500. All right.
Catch me on Canal Street next week, people.
So you spend $1,500, $2,500 in your Louis Vuitton bag, but we think that like RepeatMD, we've been like, I used to joke and say call us Repeat LV because like Louis Vuitton's been a big part of it. People love it, right? Especially in this industry, it's a high ticket, high caliber, high quality person that you're attracting. The juice versus the squeeze, right? Are you getting a return on your Louis Vuitton bag?
hell
You
yeah.
think more than like almost more than anything else?
So people who are asking, by the way, please take my idea. I did a really cool Candyland theme.
I stole it. We're doing that
Okay,
next.
it's not stealing.
Okay, so what's the candy?
not
thing?
It's
recreating a wheel.
community, not competition. So Candyland was fun because you had like the Rolo reward chick who was like Rolo's the candy, right?
I
You
like
had
Candyland.
marshmallow memberships was in there. You had peppermint patty packages. So it was all sweet candy themed. We all got to like hold up our favorite candies. And like the sweetest deals were Sculptra. So that idea is also on my Instagram. Go ahead and take that as well. What was the question about LV bags?
I don't remember the question anymore.
Oh,
Is it worth the investment?
Is it worth the investment? I stopped drinking 2 years ago, but I feel drunk because we've been doing this for 5 hours.
That's low blood sugar.
This is low blood sugar. Where are the Reese's? Sorry, I just screamed. So the LV bags, it is a long ROI, right? So like, I might not make my $1,500 in night one, but when someone signs up for a $300 membership and they're signed up for 4 months, hopefully longer, I'm gonna make it back.
Well, so for
wait,
us,
I'm so sorry.
no.
Last thing. I did a report for Phil like 6 months ago. On average, members do spend in my office an extra $300 to $400 per visit.
Wow.
Because the thing is, my memberships are beauty banks. So they've already banked 200, 200, 200.
And they need an extra couple $100 to get the thing that they've already
Right,
saved
but
up
then they
most
get
of
to
it.
checkout and they're like, wait, what do you mean it's only $200? I want more.
I guess
Do
we
you know
call
what
that
I'm saying?
RepeatMD math, right?
Yeah.
Because it saves the money, so they need to spend more money.
100%.
But you know what's funny about the bag is we're actually this year giving away an Hermes bag, which is a
Hermes.
whole
Ooh
different
la la.
ball game.
That is a whole different
And
ball
what's
game.
cool about Hermes is number one, there's no Hermes dealer in all of Oregon. I
Yeah.
actually had to fly in person to go get it. They don't ship them. So no matter what, my clientele cannot get that bag
That's
unless they come to see
Juicy.
me.
So what's the hook to get how are we getting that Hermes bag? What are you doing?
Well, so everybody who walks in the door for the event, they have to physically come in, gets a ticket.
Okay.
That's the ticket. And then they're gonna play Candyland. We have a whole little game piece that's going through our entire office. It's gonna mimic a little passport that you get at normal events that'll have a little Candyland board. And you have to complete the board in order to turn in your ticket.
Now, does this sound exhausting? Are you listening to us and thinking, holy shit,
I think the
don't wanna
people that
do
are on the
this.
call have inexhaustible energy, so that
No,
might
I got
not
it.
be.
I'm being told we're wrapping up soon, but I wanna. You obviously get the last word. You're the professional here, but
I
I
am
want to
just
remind
a
you
guest.
guys there are 44,120 medical spas out there, and if you want to make it, you're gonna have to put in a little bit of effort. I feel like so often we think that it's just like a set it and forget it. We are so blessed to have clients. There are more clients out there that we can all capture, but there are also more med spas that they can travel to. So not just the skill set of your nurses and estheticians, but also you have to provide the Candyland theme. You've got to provide the Twister costumes, and you've got to do things that are a little weird to like
Stand out.
stand out.
And they talk about them and they look forward to the next event. It's so important.
Joe, last word for you. If you had to give people, one shining beacon of a tip on how to sell more memberships.
Well, number one, you need to tell about the rewards program from the very get-go so that they can see that app when they leave, even if they don't complete a membership. So your staff needs to know how to talk about it, know how to use it, and be members themselves so they've actually physically seen the whole platform. And quite frankly, you need to be comfortable talking about it. It's really that simple.
How do you guys train your staff to like? I think that's one of the biggest challenges that owners have is like, I love it, I'm all in, but it's not working because my staff isn't using it. How do we get, like, that's the last question. Let's end on that. How do we create that standard?
Well, number one, I incentivize my staff to move memberships. They need to be excited about every single person who signs up, right? Some people do $10 for every membership. Other people give them a percentage of it. It doesn't really matter, but people are excited, and there's different ways to motivate
Well, I've
people.
heard some staff members get, like, they don't want to sell memberships because, they get it for cheaper and I make less money. Like, how do you deal with that?
I remind them I'm a little bit of a hard ass, and I say, do you want to keep working? Because if members come in once a month or they spend more, that's more in your paycheck over time. So you got to help me keep the lights on by helping me sell memberships.
And funny enough, the Hermes bag inspired a whole different conversation with my staff. They said, well, how do I get an Hermes bag? And I said,
of course.
Great question.
Sell 15 memberships.
That's right? You can put all the memberships in place and you find out why people are incentivized. But you have to have a conversation with your staff. And I think the other thing, and you probably agree with this, is you need to have a true champion in your office who knows how to do RepeatMD and is the true expert and talks with a customer success specialist and really has the vision in mind for the practice, because you have to have the vision to get the outcome that you're looking for.
I'm so sorry, but when we're running low on time, I see all your comments about what about the people who are small offices or aren't conducive to events? Remember, none of what I talked about is an in-person event. All of mine is on the internet. You have a phone in your hand right now. You can do this, right? You're just creating content and it's Amazoning. And if you're a solo practitioner out there, you have probably one of the easiest jobs, because if as a solo provider, you're solely responsible for educating people about everything on your app. And you're mixing the Botox, you're doing the numbing, you're doing the wiping down. That is unwasted time. That is time you shouldn't waste. You should communicate with your people.
Captive
So I
audience.
don't want to hear any excuses. We don't have a big space. I don't have time to do events. If you can't do in-person events, I don't care.
Digital.
Do digital events.
And you don't need a big staff. Your staff, you have family, you have friends, they can come in and they can volunteer. There's a million ways to get people to
Beautiful.
help, even the vendors that you partner with.
Yep. Lastly, Joe, let the people know how they can find you, follow you, reach out to you if they want to talk to you more.
Sure. So we're on Instagram, Pure Med Spa Medford. Well, I'm sure that we'll put our contact information out there. But you're welcome to reach out to me through that channel, and that'll be the fastest way to get to me, I think.
Pure Med Spa Medford on Instagram. Chris?
Someone yelled at me for talking too fast earlier. I'm at Botox by Misha, MEESHA. Follow me, and then you can totally take my ideas. But if you follow me, all I ask is that you engage with some of my posts, because if I have a social media is
fair.
silly.
Absolutely. We got to help each other. It's the
Yeah.
community,
Help
right?
the algorithm.
Yeah.
Help
Help
the
the
community.
algorithm.
And if you remember Chris and you want to talk to me, I'm sure we'll get each other back and forth. It'll be
sure.
fine.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, both for being part of this, for sticking around for the entirety of the time, for being such great partners and great players. And thank everybody out there who's watched and enjoyed. And for everybody on the RepeatMD team and everybody at home, thank you so much for joining the 2025 Sell More Summit. See it.
Bye. This is us. We're the last thing they see before bed.
This is
Oh
it,
my
folks.
Enjoy those nightmares, people. Goodbye.
See you next year.
Thanks, everybody.
Sign up for RepeatMD. It saved my practice.
Absolutely.